All right, next life lesson. Should you buy the iPhone SE 2.0?
That sounds like a question, not a lesson, Colton.
The answer, from what I have read and seen, the answer is yes.
Wow, that's not an answer I expected. Okay.
And I'll tell you, the only reason why it's yes is because how cheap it is. I never thought I would say Apple and cheap in the same sentence.
I agree.
The company's coming around. All right, time to invest. Okay. So, for everybody that does not know, if you live under a rock, the iPhone SE was the most successful iPhone of all time in terms of, units sold, I believe, is what the statistic is. As you guys probably also know, the iPhone SE has not been out, the last and only model, I think, came out years ago. And by years ago, I mean it's probably been close, if not over 10 years now. And, everybody swears by it. One of those people being my sister. Simply because it's a small form factor phone that just gets the job done. And they took an interesting route this time. They actually priced it a reasonable price. What do you think?
That's unheard of for
Yeah,
Apple.
and, before I ask you what you think, the new iPhone SE starts at $399 with the A13 Bionic chip, a 4.7 rectangle display, so not edge-to-edge display, and 64 gigs of storage. And let me just look real quick at how many gigs of RAM, because that's an interesting factor we need to discuss. RAM. I'm not seeing any RAM. Let me Control F this real quick. Control F. Hello?
That's a doggo, guys, if you can hear him. Ooh. He's been barking throughout the podcast.
Well, I haven't heard him.
Welcome to Unedited, guys.
At all. So I think he's all right. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. I'm not seeing how much RAM. Maybe it's under memory.
Yeah, they did memory.
Memory. Still nothing. I mean,
really?
If I had to guess, because of the price, it's gonna have 4 gigs of RAM if I had to guess. Maybe 6. Yeah, but I'm not seeing anything. How is that not one of their first stats under... It's a little weird.
You know what it might be, Colton?
What?
And I hate to say it.
What?
Is this going to be one of those phones that's just too good to be true? Did they jip out on the RAM?
Are you asking me if they put 2 gigs of RAM in this thing?
I think they may have put 2 gigs of RAM in this thing.
There's no way.
If it's not listed, I get suspicious when companies don't list data that you always look for. So when you look at phones, you look at camera pixels, you look at screen size and resolution, battery life, RAM, and processor. I mean, that is the in storage space.
Yeah. That's
the meat and potatoes of any phone you buy.
Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I just found an article. When was it written? Tell me when it was written. Hello? How are you going to be a blog posting company and not put dates and times on your articles? Trash. Okay, give me a comparison here. AppleInsider.com seems reputable. Give me RAM, memory, something. Please. Are you kidding me? You're kidding. Nobody lists it.
I'm looking through the Apple site right now that took a very interesting scroll approach. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I hate it. Terrible UX. Saw that earlier. Okay.
So give me a while to scroll through this beast. Oh, you did? Okay.
So, it's to be announced, which irritates me because pre-orders start the day you are listening to this podcast. So, how are you going to be TBA on one of the most important aspects of the phone? For reference, the iPhone 11 has 4 gigs of RAM. It says allegedly next to it. Wait.
That's kind of weird.
Wait, are you telling me that Apple has never released their memory capacity ever? Oh.
Oh.
Oh, now that's shady, Apple. Huh.
Well, this is the same company that took off some reviews.
Oh, yeah, I remember that time. What a time.
Yeah. What a time.
So, I do want to run through a couple other things. It does run iOS 13. It's a 1334 by 750 LCD 4.7 inch display. Up to 13 hours of video playback because Apple likes to talk in sentences and not numbers. It does support wireless and fast charging. And you have 3 storage options, 64, 128, 256, with a lightning charging port. So they are still not on the USB-C train for the iPhones. Cameras have a slight downgrade, but that's what you're going to expect in a budget phone. Made out of aluminum, not stainless steel. That's okay. Comes in black, silver, and red. IP67 rating. And yes, it has dual SIM with eSIM. So, with that being said, what do you think, Austin? Starting at $399.
So, $399. That's a great
Oh, yes.
price point. I think it's,
Yes,
especially for today's smartphones. I mean, even Samsung and Google Pixel, they're not hitting those numbers right now. But, there's a but.
Ooh, I like butts.
Yeah. The Samsung Galaxy S10. I just wanted to check my facts here. I went to their site real quick. They are doing 36-month financing right now, $1,639 a month. Apple's doing about 9 and some change, right, for this phone?
Actually, when you click on everything and go through the onboarding, it actually says $1,662 a month.
Okay.
But their payment plan might be lower or less months, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And then the phone is $589.99, which is what I got my S10 for, with eligible trade-in.
Yeah.
And this phone has up to 12 gigabytes of RAM. So right there it tells you how high you can achieve.
Right.
This does that with storage, but not with that, and that bugs me, as it bugs you, I'm sure. One nice thing I'll give to them, though, is that it is going to come with 4K display. For the price point, that's pretty good. Now, I wonder how that 4K display is going to affect that battery.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I actually didn't see anything about battery as well. Let me backtrack here and see if there's anything for that.
But it's a smaller looking phone.
Yeah.
Compared to what's on the market now. So
budget phone.
That would lead me to believe, yeah, budget phone. So it's going to have a smaller battery. Yeah. So you're putting that better display on a smaller battery phone.
Definitely.
So I wonder how much that's going to eat at it. It's not 5G by what I'm seeing here.
Not a lot of phones are, to be fair.
That's fair.
Because 5G is still in the making. I wouldn't expect anyone to have all their new devices to have 5G until maybe even 2022.
Thinking that far out, huh?
Yep.
It is going to give you up to 60 FPS.
Nice.
Oh, that was a car in the background.
Yes. I muted my mic, so it's okay. Nobody should have heard it.
I still heard it.
Yes, you did. But the audience didn't. That's a clapper right there.
That's true. The extended dynamic range comes to iPhone SE for more highlight details, up to 30 FPS. That's still pretty good. So honestly, all in all, would I buy it? Maybe.
If you were on a budget in the Apple ecosystem, would you buy it?
Yes. If I was on a budget, or you know what, if work said, hey, you need to get a work phone, here's $400, I'd get it.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice little phone to have around. I don't think it's not enough to convert me to Apple.
Okay.
I like my Samsung, and one day they could get me. They really could.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, the only thing they got on me is the watch. That watch is nice. I gotta give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
They need. I can't emphasize that enough.
Ooh. What do they need?
They need to get USB-C.
Yes.
Why do they insist on their custom lightning cable that breaks all the time?
Because it's proprietary, and that's the only reason. And it's irritating, and I hate it.
So, I understand. I do get it. From a business standpoint, they want to sell their product, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But make your product universal.
Fair enough. I mean, they did it with iPads. Like, why can't you do it with the freaking iPhone now? I mean, yeah, it's probably what you sell the most units of, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. I don't know. I mean, they're obviously getting extra money for it. It's obviously proprietary. It's obviously the reason why they're doing it. They just make more money with it. I mean, let's be realistic here. But yeah, I mean, $399 for 64 gigs of RAM. I mean, that's a bit short these days.
64 gigs of data storage.
Yeah,
not
my
RAM.
bad. Memory. I can't speak. But yeah, I mean, starting at $399. And Austin, I think this is actually what you read earlier. It starts at, once my page loads, it starts at $229 with viable trade-in. So technically it's even cheaper than that. And like I said, if you guys are listening and if you're curious, pre-orders start today, April 17th. And I believe they ship 1 or 2 weeks after today. So if you guys were curious and wanted to hop on that. But yeah, I reached out to my sister. Like I said, this was her favorite phone model. And because of the price, she instantly is thinking about buying it. So it's definitely going to be a commodity for some people. I mean, that's a compelling price point because other budget phones these days from huge companies are starting at $500 to $750.
At least. And the public has become so used to buying phones at that price range. Like, we don't even think about it now. We just go buy it.
Exactly. Budget phones this year were the price of top-tier flagships last year. It's crazy how those numbers change in such a short amount of time.
And it's crazy that sales haven't dipped.
Right. I mean, now, actually they have, technically. People frequently buy phones less. Like, for all the people that used to buy phones every year, now they usually wait, like, every other year or every 18 months or something like that. Me personally, I buy a new phone when my current one breaks. So, like, if I notice it slowing down on me, I buy one. So, I usually skip a generation because of that, I guess methodology, practice that I do with buying phones. Currently, I'm rocking an S10. Beautiful phone.
Yeah, it's a great phone.
Yeah, definitely the best I have ever had. The edge-to-edge stuff, oof, beautiful. Corner notch, can't complain. But yeah, I mean, I think Apple made a very good play here in terms of how much they price things and actually making a budget phone versus making a budget phone based on today's standards, even their own standards, to be honest with you.
They did a very good job here.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't say it often, but other than your proprietary cable, Apple, this is a great play, and I applaud you for it.
Yeah, honestly, if they upped it a little bit, made it a bigger phone, and put it at $500, I would have to seriously look at both phones.
Yeah.
When it came to my next phone purchase, it would be a tight competitor with the Samsung. I can admit that right now. I don't like how fixed their software is.
Oof, I hate it.
But I feel like I'd adapt in an okay amount of time that it wouldn't be a tragic loss for me if I got it.
Right.
And if they gave me some of the features that I do like from my Samsung, like the USB-C cable, it would be something I consider, 100%.
Sure, of course.
The biggest thing I think, with this is going to be, are they going to see, well, we probably know the answer to this already, but are they going to see a massive spike in sales of this phone?
Oh, 100%.
Exactly.
I mean,
so if they see that spike,
yeah.
are they going to start continuing this trend more often?
Mm-hmm. So, okay, not only are they going to see a spike because it's so cheap, but people have been wanting an SE 2.0 for years now. Like,
Yes.
years. And it's simply because it is their most sold iPhone unit of all time. And that obviously has some backing to it. People love the form factor. They love the features with the phone. So why not make a second one? And it's super interesting how they make it now when budget phones are more expensive than this. And this is the cheapest budget phone of a top brand in years. Probably 3 to 5 years. This is the cheapest budget phone from, I would say the top 3 competitors in the smartphone space.
Agreed. And you know what? That black, it looks good.
Yeah, let me take a quick look here.
It
That
looks
black.
really
Yeah,
good.
it's like that dark space gray they have with the new MacBooks. It's pretty good.
Yep.
I like it.
It looks solid. And it's got a single camera.
Mm-hmm.
They are claiming this is the most powerful smartphone for the best single camera system on an iPhone.
I mean, probably. Because,
I believe they're right in saying that, 100%.
yeah. But yeah,
It's got,
pretty good.
where was that? Ooh, you mentioned it. Just going to reiterate it here.
what?
The megapixels of the camera. I just saw it. What was it?
It's on the tech spec
where
page.
is it? Yeah.
I'll run through them. I found them.
Thank you.
So, the front camera, we got 7 megapixels with an f2.2 aperture. And that's the front camera. Let me get that rear camera. That is a 12 megapixel wide camera with an f1.8 aperture with double zooming up to 5 times. So the cameras are decent. They're decent.
I like them. I think it's going to be a good phone. And I don't say that about Apple.
Yeah.
We're pretty heavy Apple critics here.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, very much so.
So, to say that we like one of their phones and we think it's going to do well, which all their phones end up doing well. Everybody buys Apple. We get it. But this phone's going to do superb.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be good.
100%.